All right, Ashlyn and Wesley. So we have been talking about our parts of the sentences, beginning with our verb. We've talked about every sentence has two parts. It is the subject and the predicate. Subject part of the sentence, of course, contains the subject, tells us who or what the sentence is about. And then the predicate part of the sentence has the verb in it, and it tells us what the subject is doing. So we have started finding our verbs in sentences. Open your books to page 111, and we're going to go ahead and complete Think D together. So it says underline each verb 2 times and circle the connecting word. Remember, yesterday we started talking about that a sentence can have more than one verb in the predicate. The horse galloped and jumped. The cat licked and scratched. So you can have more than one verb in a sentence. These are compound verbs, and they're going to be joined by a conjunction. So we're going to underline our compound verbs twice. I guess not every sentence has a compound verb, but we're going to underline our verb twice, and if it is compound, we're going to circle its conjunction. The audience clapped and cheered. The sentence is about the audience. What did the audience do? They clapped and cheered. So underline clapped and cheered twice and circle your conjunction. Remember that conjunction will always tell us, look to see if it's joining verbs together. The kite dipped and danced in the wind. The sentence is about the kite. What did the kite do? It dipped and it danced. So you have a compound verb there. Circle your conjunction and. Smoke filled the room. The sentence is about smoke. What did the smoke do? It filled. That is our verb. The sun baked the mud bricks. The sentence is about the sun, and what did the sun do? It baked. That is our verb. Chickens clucked and cackled all over the barnyard. What did the chickens do? They clucked and cackled. So you have a compound verb there. Underline both words and circle your conjunction. He sang and played the piano in our church. The sentence is about he. What exactly did he do? He played and sang. Underline your compound verbs and circle your conjunction. The villages celebrated the bicentennial. What did the villages do? They celebrated. That is our verb. Jesus Christ died and rose again. Our sentence is about Christ, Jesus Christ, and what did Jesus Christ do? He died and rose. We have a compound verb. Circle your verbs and, underline your verbs and circle your conjunction. The rain fell all morning. The sentence is about the rain, and what did the rain do? It fell. Coats filled the closet. Filled is our verb. Coats is what the sentence is about. I was just going back the way we do it usually. Coats is what the sentence is about. What did the coats do? Or what did they do? They filled. That is our verb. I bathed and fed my baby sister. The sentence is about I, and what did I do? I bathed and fed. Those are your verbs. Underline them twice and circle your conjunction. Robert mowed lawns this summer. The sentence is about Robert. What did Robert do? He mowed. And trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Make your bed. Take out the trash. Lay your pencil down. These are all imperative sentence giving a command, just like trust in the Lord with all your heart. So our subject is understood you. So you will need to write that in parentheses at the beginning of your sentence with the capital Y. Underline the verb that's who the sentence is about, you. It's all about you right now. And what are you to do? Trust. Trust is your verb. Okay? Turn your papers to the next page. And we are going to start talking about another verb. But this next verb that we are going to start talking about is not something that we can stand up and do. All of our verbs we've done so far, cackled and clucked, baked, trust. What are all of our verbs we underlined? Fell, died and rose, celebrated, sang and played, baked, filled, dipped and danced, clapped and cheered. These are all things that we can stand up and do. They have been action verbs thus far. But today we are going to learn our state of being verbs. And state of being verbs just simply say something about the subject. It's not necessarily an action. Now, Miss McDermott is very big on memorizing our verb list. So I'm going to start saying our verb list. And I want you to pretend nobody else is in your house. And I want you to pretend that I'm looking straight in your eyeballs, expecting you to say this verb list with me, just like we do in school. You guys both know when we sing song our list and things that I want you to memorize, we memorize them easier that way. So sing song with me, listen to it a few times, and join in. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. 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 Come on, Wesley. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Cover your book up. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. All right, so today on your assignment post, you have 2 language worksheets to do. One of them is your helping verbs, or your not helping, I'm sorry, your state of being verbs, and the other one is just your regular language worksheet. Both of them will need to be completed. It is very important that you know your verb list, okay? When our sentences get a little bit more difficult and you're trying to find a verb, and you tell me a verb that doesn't make any sense, I'll say something like, is that something you can stand up and do? Is that word on any of our verb lists? Then it cannot be a verb. That's what I would say if we were in class. So in class or out of class, it would be very important that your state of being verb list is memorized. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Look at Think A on page 112. We're going to underline the verb 2 times. I am the good shepherd. Who is our sentence about? I. And what about I? Am. Am is your verb. Am, is, are, was, were. Allison was the winner of the race. Our sentence is about Allison. What about Allison? Allison was. Am, is, are, was, were. You be the catcher, Alex. Our sentence is about you. What about you? You be is our verb. Am, is, are, was, were, be. The flowers, those flowers are beautiful. The sentence is about flowers. What about flowers? Are. Are is our verb. Am, is, are. Okay. The Lord, or the earth, is the Lord's. The sentence is about the earth. What about the earth? It is. Is our verb. Am, is. How are you today, Jeffrey? You is our verb. What about you? You are. I'm sorry. You is our subject. What about you? You are. Are is our verb. Am, is, are. Daniel was brave and fearless. Was is our verb, because our sentence is about Daniel. What about Daniel? Daniel was. Am, is, are, was. Jesus is the creator of the world. Our sentence is about Jesus. What about Jesus? He is. Let me hear our state of being verb list 3 more times. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Okay? Look at Think B. Draw 2 lines under each verb. Write A in the blank if the verb is an action verb, something you can stand up and do, or if the verb in the blank is a state of being verb. Okay? So we are all here now. The sentence is about we. What about we? We are. Underline are twice, and that is a being verb. Put be on the line. I read bedtime stories to my little sister. The sentence is about I. What did I do? I read Read is our verb. I can stand up and read, and it's not on that verb list, so it has to be an action verb. Write A on the line. The Lord of hosts is with us. The sentence is about the Lord. What about the Lord? He is. Is our verb. Underline it twice, and that is on our verb list. Am is. So put B on the line. Jesus healed Peter's mother-in-law of a fever. The sentence is about Jesus. What did he do? He healed. We can't stand up and heal, but Jesus could stand up and heal, so that makes it an action verb. Put A on the line. The man's hat was underneath my chair. The sentence is about hat, and what about the hat? It was. Was is our verb. Underline it twice, and that is a state of being verb from our list. Am is our was. So put B on the line. We saluted the stars and stripes. The sentence is about we. What did we do? We saluted. Saluted is something we can stand up and do. It is an action verb. Put an A on the line. Michael is at the farm with his cousins. The sentence is about Michael. What about Michael? He is. So is on our verb list. Am is are, was were. So that is a being verb. Put a B on the line. The disciples were in the ship with Jesus during the storm. Our sentence is about disciples. What about disciples? They were. Am, is, are, was, were. So were is a state of being verb. Underline it twice and put a B on the line. Today we hiked in the woods. The sentence is about we. What did we do? We hiked. We can stand up and hike. So hike is an action verb. Put A on the line. Grandfather and I planted the garden together. The sentence is about grandfather and I. And what did we do? We planted. So planted is an action verb. Put A on the line. On page 113, you are just going to fill in a verb for your sentences there on 1 through 14. And I want you to notice whether the verb you're filling in is an action verb, or notice whether it is a state of being verb. Some sentences will call for one or the other. You don't have to take a picture and send it to me. I'm just trusting that you will be responsible and you will complete that exercise and you will do it to the best of your ability, and you will look at each verb and say, oh, that's an action verb. Oh my gosh, I just used the state of being verb. Okay? So that's what you're going to do there. And on page 113, go ahead and look at Remember E. We're going to label the following sentences. A little bit of review here. DEC for declarative, IMP for imperative, INT for interrogative, and EXC for exclamatory. And then the part of the directions we always stop reading before we get to, place the end marks at the end of each sentence. Here we go. I like to play soccer. It's just declaring something. It's telling us something. DEC. And it ends with a period. Did you make a goal? It's asking us a question. That makes it interrogative, INT. And of course, a question mark goes at the end of that sentence. Aim for the net. Put your pencil down. Take the trash out. Look at me. It's a command. Aim at the net. Just like all of the others were a command. So that is an imperative sentence, IMP on the line, and a period at the end. What a great game you played. So we have a sentence that begins with the word what, but it's not asking a question. So that tells us immediately that is an exclamatory sentence, EXC, and put an exclamation point at the end. My coach is Mr. Sanders. This sentence is just declaring to us or telling us that my coach is Mr. Sanders. DEC on the line, declarative, and a period at the end. When is the next game? This sentence is obviously asking a question. INT on the line, interrogative, and put a question mark at the end. Okay? So that is our language class for today. 3 more times before we go. State of being verb list. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. I'll see you guys on video call.